Hi there, I'm Scott Frerichs, and as a gay man in a post-Reagan America, protection means a lot to me, and I like to wrap up my devices with Surfshark. Surfshark protects all of your devices an unlimited amount from home to mobile, and makes it easy to protect your identity and your browsing habits, as well as staving off unwarranted, unruly, ungodly ads, and even allows you to connect to different servers all over the world with one click so you can circumnavigate geoblocking. Hell, I'm in the Berlin, Germany right now. Oh, this accent is going to lose us all of our deals. And if you go to surfshark.deals/TeamFourStar and enter the promo code TeamFourStar, you'll get your first month free and 83% off your subscription. Enjoy Surfshark and enjoy your protected browsing. And now, the Talkcast Podshow.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Talkcast Podshow, the #1 show on the internet, and the second most infectious thing going around these days. Rough. I'll take it, though. I'll take it. I'm Lenny Pator, joined this week by
Scott Kaisernick of Frerichs. How's everybody doing?
Ooh, going full made up and last.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Gotta make sure that everybody knows who I am, build that cult of personality. Parasocial relationships, give me your views!
I've been trying to rebrand lately. What do you think of Nick Lanny?
Oh, no.
Yeah, though.
No.
So that way I can go by Lanny or Nick, and it wouldn't matter.
Nick Lanny? I'm
Nick
sorry.
Lanny.
Nah, I'm not feeling it.
Too bad. Not what I wanted to hear, so it doesn't count.
I think she just changed your first name to Max.
Max Lanny?
No, Max Landis. That was the
No, I don't think that works out either.
Not particularly, no.
Doesn't work out for the other one.
Ooh, Lanik.
Anyway.
I like Lanik.
Ooh, Lanik. Ooh, first name Lanny, last name Ick.
Lanik.
Perfect. Yeah, just go full on Max Power. There you go.
Oh yeah, Max Powers.
So, I know that over on the gaming channel, you've been going through, I guess you went through RE3.
It's really funny that in one night I finished it, and now it's gonna take 2 weeks on the gaming channel. I should have done an hour each. I should have done an hour, but I was thinking to myself, yeah, we do these at half-an-hour intervals, right? No, I should have done an hour.
So you were playing it when it came out on midnight, which means you were up till at least 6 a.m., I'm guessing?
Precisely. 6:30 is when I finished is when I finished the stream. I think I got to bed at like 7:30, maybe 8, like an idiot.
That's about right. I paced myself, did it in 2 chunks.
Coward.
Hey, it worked better for me because I got to sleep more. That's how it works. You get to sleep more.
I mean, I'm
bitch
not gonna.
Can't even sleep.
Look, bitch can't even sleep. Okay, so we can both agree that that's the best line in the entire fucking game.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I lost.
I lost my shit when that happened. Bitch can't even swim.
Yeah, no, that is easily the best joke.
Get him his floaties. No bully. Nemi's doing his best.
So yeah, this one's all gonna. I mean, generally a lot of these sometimes lately haven't exactly been too themed, but yeah, the theme of this Talkcast Podshow is ostensibly going to be.
It's where we're starting, but let the journey take its course, sir.
Yeah. So Resi 3 recently dropped. It wasn't last Friday, was it? Gosh.
Yeah, it was last week. It
Yeah.
just came out, and I mean it's short enough that you can finish the campaign very quickly, which is very nice because another massive release is coming out this Friday.
Oh yeah, and that one's gonna take more than one play. That one's gonna take
Very much.
a little bit longer than one sit down.
Just a touch.
Although God help me for the person who inevitably will play through that game in one sitting.
It'll be at AGDQ next time they're allowed to hold one. I'm certain.
Yeah, no. Final Fantasy VII, the remake, comes out the 10th?
Yeah, did you play, just to round back around, I'm pretty sure it comes out on the 10th, yeah, this Friday. To roll back around Resi 3, did you play the original on the PS1?
I did, and I think I actually beat the original now that I think about it. Which is... No, I never beat the original. Did I? God, it has been so long. I can't remember if I beat the original Resident Evil 3. I definitely played through it, though, because I loved it.
The 1990s were, in fact, a very long time ago.
Yeah, 10 years?
Yeah, something like that. I'm not old. I'm good. I'm good. I'm hip. I'm with it. I do a podcast now. That's how you know I'm with it.
Yeah, no, that tells the world that we're on the pulse.
Mm-hmm.
The pulse
You know
that is slowly, the pulse that is either speeding up or slowing down dramatically.
It's all relative. It's all super relative. But yeah, I actually I played it on the PlayStation 1, but I never actually beat a Resident Evil game until 4. I would always get into them. I would squander all my ammunition, get bored and stop, or get stuck on a puzzle and stop, and then move on to something else.
Yeah, I definitely beat 4. I won't lie, the old Resident Evil games are kind of just difficult. Tank controls are not forgiving. And if I'm gonna be honest with you, they stressed me the fuck out.
That's the thing about like old school survival horror, especially with the tank controls. You need to manage your inventory, and you also need to find the proper spacing to use it. And I was so bad at like, oh cool, I got grenade launcher rounds. Hey, there's a zombie in this hallway. Bye, boom. And then I'd run into the snake boss in RE1 and be like, what am I supposed to do? That's just the kind of player I was back then.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And
now I've gone hard the other way, where I'll pick up a grenade and be like, I'm keeping this forever. And then I'll have like a stockpile of grenades.
One of the things I was really happy about with them, like just doing away with in all of the modern Resident Evils, unless you play through on the hard mode, was needing the ink ribbons.
Ink ribbons?
Ink ribbons were always bad. I'm sorry. They were always bad. There should not be something that I need to save. Fuck you, games.
It certainly added to the pressure back in the day.
Oh yeah, no, it made it a more suspenseful, anxiety-inducing, stressful experience.
I just made it to this typewriter. I have one ink ribbon, and I don't know what's beyond that door. I'm okay on health, but if there's a boss in there and I have to trek through that hour of gameplay again, like, look, I wasn't one of those kids that played those Nintendo hard games, so
yeah, me neither.
This was my barometer for difficulty.
I mean, fact is, as a kid, I did everything I could to make my games easier. If you don't think I was a Game Shark kid, I was absolutely a Game Shark kid. I didn't want challenge in my games. I wanted power fantasies where I go around and I destroy things. That's all I needed as a kid. That's all I wanted. I mean, as an adult... as an adult, I'm playing Celeste, so I guess things changed.
It definitely swaps on you a bit. Like, when I was a kid, I would definitely Game Shark the hell out of most things. The first game I remember really playing to get, like, 100% completion on, still maybe one of the only games to this date, was GoldenEye, where I would play through it normally, without cheats, trying to unlock all the cheats, unlock all the extra characters, the extra guns, all that shit, just vanilla. Yeah. That was the first game I think I did that with, and I tried doing it with Perfect Dark, but it had so much more shit.
Oh man, Perfect Dark. Oh my god. That was one of my favorite multiplayers ever. Just ever.
Same. Like, it had some decent AI if you just set yourself up in an arena, too.
Oh, hell yeah. I loved going and killing some bots. Oh, good times.
Dude, the fucking Farsight, one of the best, like... It's amazing trying to go back and play that game with the kind of graphics it had, using the Farsight and being like, I remember this being a lot more useful as a kid.
Yeah. Worldwide Wimpy, those games do not hold up. No, they don't. But you know what? When you were a kid, they were fun as fuck. Master Dark also asking in the intro of my Let's Play. Yes, that is me singing. Hey, if you want to go watch me play, it's fun. It's a fun little playthrough. It's very chill. I do very chill playthroughs. I'm not the yuckiest motherfucker out there, but you can just chill with me as I go through Resident Evil 3. And
you're not a jumpy boy?
I'm not a jumpy boy. But you will notice that I sang, oh god, is it Flock of Seagulls? Is that the name of the band?
Ran So Far Away?
Yeah.
That's Flock of Seagulls.
Yeah, I've been thinking about...
I ran so far away. That one, yeah.
Some people are asking for a full cover, and I'm like, guys, no, that little bit had to actually be auto-tuned by Ein. You don't want that. But, yeah.
He is a man of many talents. Singing is not particularly one of them.
No, it is not. But that being said, actually, I was actually kind of okay at the game. Let me tell you, out of between 2 and 3, 2 is better, but
Yes.
the opening for 3 is so good.
I loved that. Actually seeing like Jill's apartment and then like the PTSD nightmare sequence, and it is sick.
Yes, it is, and fucking. So I wasn't expecting Nemesis to show up like that. I didn't see that coming. It's just
Mr. Garbage Bag.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh yeah, you know, a little nightmare sequence, and oh, this is fun, and then suddenly I get a call from Brad Vickers, that piece of shit, and the next thing I know, oh
no,
shit.
you're best friends with him in this until they remake the first one, and he has a really good excuse for flying away and leaving you.
Well, to be fair, he actually brings it up in this one, like, hey, yo, don't make a mistake like I did. And I'm like, oh, hey, cool, you're acknowledging that you were a cowardly little chicken shit piece of fuck. Yeah. Of course, then again, you know, we all of us can shit on Brad all we want, but, you know, you're in the middle of a fucking zombie apocalypse, what do you do?
Welcome to the Shit on Bradcast.
Hey, man. But, yeah, so that opening sequence sets up such a great dynamic between you and Nemi. Like, he doesn't come back like hard until about an hour into the game, an hour and a half maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna get into this later, but the difference between Nemesis and Mr. X, which is what a lot of people were talking about before the game came out, is night and day.
Oh yeah.
Mr. X I think was actually a significantly more interesting threat than Nemesis was.
Well, that's only because Nemesis was so aggressive that
it's more that I think that Mr. X was persistent. He was always there, always around, and you never know when he'd interrupt you solving a puzzle, whereas Nemesis was scripted events that you would run away from.
Yeah. He was entirely scripted, where Nemesis was just, where Mr. X just kind of walks around and you can avoid him, and he shows up every once in a while. Nemesis, yeah, he's basically on a rail.
I bet you Mr. X could swim.
Man, with that trench coat, good luck.
Actually, no. What he'd do is he would like walk into the water and walk out the other side like Principal Skinner.
Oh, 100%.
That is exactly what would happen, and you'd still hear the boot stomps the entire time.
But yeah, no. Look, it's not that Nemesis isn't terrifying and cool looking, and it's not that he isn't cool. But yeah, honestly, if I'm being real frank, I didn't love Mr. X's design. I mean,
he's just big guy.
Yeah, he's big man. Nemesis design is definitely the better of the two. But when it comes to how they interact with the character, you're right that Mr. X was probably more interesting, where Nemesis was more exciting. You know.
Yeah, and that has a lot to do with the design of the game, where Resident Evil 2 was very much all about discovering that same hub, every single area in that hub.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 3 Nemesis was a flowing, let's move from place to place, and you very rarely return back to earlier areas.
I think there's at one point where, okay, so in the Resident Evil 2 remake, they were very good about telling you, hey, once you do this, once you go down this road, we're not coming back. I actually cannot particularly remember exactly when that happened in Resident Evil 3, but then again, I never felt like that was 100% necessary, because the game gives you everything you need to get... the fact that I actually used everything that the lockpick was made for surprised me.
Yeah.
On my first playthrough in 6.5 hours, I used everything the lockpick was supposed to be used on. And I was like, wow, okay. I didn't know I was going to... And it wasn't like I was spending a whole lot of time exploring, but coming off of Resident Evil 2, the remake, then Resident Evil 7, then 3... Yeah, 3 it feels more like a spin-off of Resident Evil than it feels like a full game, which is funny.
Which is what it was.
Yeah, considering that its original conception was like Resident Evil 1.9 or some shit.
Well, its original concept was something to Code Veronica was meant to be the true Resident Evil 3, but it was going to take them a lot longer. At least I think I remember hearing this, but it was going to take them a lot longer to make it because they wanted to put it out on the next series of consoles. Meanwhile, they still wanted to put out a game for the next Christmas because Resident Evil 2 and 3, if I am correct, came out within a year of each other, maybe less. And so they had to reuse a lot of assets, which is why a lot of the areas in Resident Evil 3, the original, are the same as Resident Evil 2.
Yeah. Although, with how Resident Evil 3 was originally set up, it only makes sense that would reuse some of those assets, considering that you actually go back to some of the places in 2 as it takes place before, in the middle, and after 2.
Which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, no, a corresponding game where you're playing as Jill Valentine from the first one, great idea.
Yeah.
And also, like... so I remember when I was originally playing through the game on the PlayStation, I didn't like Carlos. I thought Carlos was lame. And playing through this one, I'm like, oh hey, you know what? I like Carlos. Between the fact that he's got a much peppier personality and he's kind of charming, and also he's stupid hot. I was like, yeah, you know what?
So I take it you went with the new haircut then.
Oh my god, yeah, no. Like if it gave me the option to change his costume, fuck that. Unless suddenly it's gonna give me the option to play through in a tank top and shorts, like I'm gonna keep this Carlos the way he is.
Give him time. I was actually kind of surprised they didn't have more costume options, because in RE2 they gave you the noir outfit, the fucking sheriff outfit, the racer outfit. Like they gave you a whole bunch of outfits at the start, at least for pre-ordering. In this one they only gave you like Carlos has a old school hairstyle and Jill has her best costume.
Wait, best costume? The original one from 3?
Tube top, bro. Come on, man. I'm a man of taste.
I mean, look, the tube top, the whole skirt and tube top thing, it's not that I have anything against it, but in the new game, it actually looks really awkward. Like, specifically because, and it's really just because she's still got the leg, what do you call it?
The holster?
The holster on her leg, and it just looks really weird.
I don't know. I think it looked great.
That being said, like, no, her best costume is the one from 1. Shut up.
Okay, did you spend your end of game coins to buy that one?
I mean, I didn't spend my end of game coins because I'm probably not going to go back to this one. I didn't go back. I didn't go back to 2 or 7, so that's not a shot at 3.
So you're not a new game plus guy. You know what? That's fair.
Not for these.
There's a lot of media out there to consume.
Yeah. That being said, like there are some games I will happily go like a new game plus on. This just isn't particularly one of them because while I love Resident Evil, and I do love Resident Evil, I can't help but feel like it's a stressful game. I feel less.
But that's what New Game Plus is for. You get all your shit off the bat.
I mean, I guess that's also fair. Yeah, I mean, it does ultimately lead into that power fantasy that I want. But it also, so it's, how do I put this? It's kind of frustrating because on one hand, yeah, it gives me my power fantasy, but on the other hand, part of the charm of Resident Evil is the tension. So if you're telling me that I'm going to play this game without the tension at all,
if we can be perfectly honest, Resident Evil 2 and 3 are speedrunners games. They are meant to find you optimizing your path and getting through as quickly and as best you can. That's why a lot of Resident Evil 2's unlocks are game completion speed related. Like you can't get the infinite knife or the infinite machine gun or rocket launcher or pistol without beating the game with an S ranking, which is almost entirely time-based. Without saving X amount of times or something. It's very much a speedrunner's game about optimization, which, actually I want to go into one of these. I'm really fucking happy that the knives didn't break in this one.
Oh my god, okay, yeah, so, when it came to Resident Evil 7 and I ended up playing through it, not 7, 2, I was immediately frustrated at the idea that I didn't consistently have at least one weapon on me at all times that I could use to defend myself. Even if the knife isn't great, it's still nice to just have it. And yeah, I'm gonna have to say I'm really glad that it and the lockpick don't break And I know that kind of goes against the entire idea of the original Resident Evil, where, you know, oh yeah, you've got these things that you have to collect and keep on you to reuse and manage your inventory. But fuck, man, no thanks. Give me a knife that lasts. Give me a lockpick that lasts.
Yeah, just a knife is fine. In this game, they give you a reusable lockpick, which is, you know, basically just a key for things. But I don't like the idea that in Resident Evil 2, my knife would just shatter like a porcelain doll after like stabbing a good number of zombies. And granted, I have not stabbed a bunch of people in the skull before. I don't know what the actual durability of a knife is, but I imagine it's more durable than what they're giving me.
So, while I am happy to have the forever knife and the lockpick that lasts, I will say the game gives you too much ammo. I never felt like I was low on ammo or I was struggling in that regard.
That's true. This is definitely resource heaven when it comes to that. I never felt like, unless I was shooting at something that I wasn't supposed to, it's very forgiving with how many shots you're allowed to miss.
I do think that the game would have benefited a little bit. Like, so on one hand, I threw it on normal, so obviously I didn't choose the hard mode. I didn't really ramp up that difficulty for me. On the other hand, I felt like normal was still a little bit too easy. I feel like if that's your baseline, then it's like, well, I mean, I died a bunch of times, but that was just due to me being kind of bad.
Normal was easy up until one specific section for me.
Yeah.
And I think you can guess which one it is. It's Carlos in the hospital.
Okay, is that the one where it's getting overrun? Or is it
no,
the one with the
that
fucking
part was
gamma?
fine. The fucking hunters.
Okay, so the hunters, I found this out. You know you can punch them, right?
Yes, I know. That was the only way I could make it through there. And eventually I learned how to do it better. But sometimes the timing is just a little off. And their fucking one-shot kills Superman punch killed me like 7 or 8 times in a row.
Actually, so funny enough, I never knew I could punch them.
Did you just use grenades?
Because
those take them out in one.
I grenade launched. I threw grenades. I also grenade launched once or twice with Jill, but I threw grenades and I unloaded on their fucking heads because that's what you do. But when you've got multiple ones, have fun. More than one gamma hunter at a time means that you're gonna just fucking struggle.
Beta hunters.
Beta hunter?
Yeah, the gammas were the ones in the sewer.
Okay. Where are the gamma ones the fucking ones with the
big fucking frogs? With
my God.
Predator mouths.
Yeah, no, those. By the way, easily top 5 of my most horrific, terrifying designs in all of Resident Evil. To be honest with you, they're just
go ahead.
They're just giant walking, like Cthulhu mouths, and they terrify me.
I still hated the sewer monsters in RE2 more.
Oh, which ones were those? Oh,
the fucking balls of slime with the Cthulhu mouths.
Yeah, no, those things were fucking...
Those were horrifying, because they'd go underwater, they'd get close to you.
I don't know, I felt like I learned how to deal with them so easily. Then again, the ones to deal with in Resident Evil, they're kind of actually easier to deal with in Resident Evil 3. It's really just a matter of wait for their mouths to open, shoot, and unless you use like a grenade launcher, back up and do it again.
Pretty much. That was where I started stockpiling grenades and just used the shotgun, which is the most broken weapon in that game, the shotgun, to deal with them. You can take them out with like 1 or 2 shots with a shotgun to the mouth of those things. It's a pretty insanely damaging weapon. I won't lie.
The moment I noticed that, I was like, I'm just gonna use my shotgun more, and I was like, wow, I can just say that. In a Resident Evil game, I'm gonna use my shotgun. I've got the ammo. I can do that.
Yeah, I ended the game with, I think, like a couple boxes of each ammo in my to-go crate in case I needed them.
I didn't even use my goddamn Magnum more than like 3 times.
I used it on those the proto regenerators.
Yeah, I found out later that you can headshot them and that kills them. I was really mad when I found that out.
You can shoot them almost anywhere. You can shoot them in the heart. I think the dossier you're given says any vital area. So if you shoot them in the heart or the head, it just puts them down.
Yeah. If I'd have known that, I wish I'd realized that. Someone in the chat said, "Hey, why not use the Magnum?" And I'm like, I'm not gonna rely on chat to tell me what to do throughout the entire damn game. So I was just doing things as I would, but I kind of do wish that I had thought, hey, you know, one shot to the brain and that kills them with the fucking Magnum, because they were a struggle. They were legitimately a struggle.
So what was your favorite section of the game?
Favorite section of the game, to be completely honest, it's the actual Raccoon City part. Like
so like the beginning third, the opening third of the game.
Yeah, the opening third of the game is definitely the best part. Just being able to go around Raccoon City, and running into different zombies, different puzzles, running away from Nemesis while scripted was still fun. Mm-hmm. I actually really loved the spider part. It's creepy, it's terrible, It's gross as hell, and it's just such a great setting that really fit the Resident Evil horror aesthetic. More than almost any other part of the game did, if I'm being real frank.
That was actually what I was going to say. My favorite part was the spider's nest. It is definitely the most tense. You don't have too much ammo at that point. I feel like you have kind of just enough to get through that area if you're being cautious with it.
Yeah.
And you never know where they're going to pop up, and they blend so well with the environment when you're walking around, and all you have is that flashlight.
Yeah.
It is by far like the best section in the game, in my opinion.
What was your least favorite section?
Oh, that one's easy. Carlos in the hospital. Because I was dealing with those stupid goddamn hunters, and their goddamn timing is just... Because Carlos and Jill's dodge are very different. Carlos will throw a punch. His dodge is an attack. His dodge is not the dodge. He does not have a second F. He only has the first one, fight. But as I was playing that, it did make me adjust and get better. Which leads to the reason that this is my least favorite, because by the time I had gotten used to his perfect dodge being like that punch, BAM! Which is stronger than Jill's fucking shotgun, by the way. By the time I had gotten used to that, I was done being Carlos forever.
Oh, yeah. It is kind of unfortunate.
And I'm just Jill again, and I'm like, well, now I have like 1 billion grenade rounds, so hunters aren't going to be an issue.
I'm kind of imagining what this game could have done if it had given us something a la Resident Evil 2, where you could have played through as Carlos or as Jill.
Oh yeah, playing the A story and the B story. That could have been neat.
I think that would have been kind of cool. I'm kind of sad that wasn't an option. But at the end of the day, you know,
narratively, it makes sense what they did, though.
Yeah. But my least favorite segment of the game, so I love the first Nemesis boss fight on the roof. Mm-hmm. That one's good. That one's real good. His other boss fights are stupid and bullshit. Like,
it's because his other boss fights are just puzzles.
Kind of.
You don't really do damage to him. You do something till he can't move, and then you shoot his little chest burster.
But also, you have to do a certain amount of damage to get him moving. And
actually, you don't. You just kind of have to wait him out.
I don't know if that's actually true, because when I fought him the first time, I did at least have to do a little bit of damage to get him.
Oh, you're talking about the courtyard one?
Yeah.
Yeah, the courtyard one you do, but the second to last one, the one in the pit, he'll just move. At a certain point.
that one automatically starts setting you up with he's gonna hide behind these things.
Yeah.
And that part's not too bad. But that courtyard battle is the worst one. It was easily my least favorite part of the game, because I'm just sitting back here like, okay, this is not fun. It's actually kind of lame. It feels more like Monster Hunter meets fucking Dark Souls meets I don't know.
Nemesis does turn into a Bloodborne monster by the end, but I think I inadvertently made the courtyard fight more entertaining, because I did not bring all of my mine ammo with me, because I thought, I might need it later. So I was doing that with like minimal mines and trying to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that made it a bit more interesting for me.
That's fair.
I had this great moment where I had it on the wall, but by the time he was going to run across it, he jumped up to the top of the clock tower. I'm like, fuck you! Fired a mine at him up there. He fell down, hit the other mine, and died.
Oh, that's real good.
I know, I got a double hit on him. It was fucking amazing. I was very happy. And that's the thing about these games, is you have those moments. Even though I do agree, I think RE2 is better, I don't even necessarily think this game is worth $60.
Yeah. It
feels like it could have been an expansion to 2, or it should have come out at a slightly lower price, because you do get literally less than half the game.
So it's kind of like, I remember when I played through 2, and I legitimately felt like 2 had too many puzzles, and some segments were legitimately frustrating to get through. Like, I'm sorry, the dogs in 2 are the worst. I hate those dogs.
I think the dogs in this one were way worse.
But the dogs in this barely showed up.
They did, and it's because they were way fucking faster.
I mean, they were, but killing them was way easier than killing the dogs in 2, where you have more limited ammo, and you honestly can't. You can't kill those dogs, but what they can do is attack you viciously, constantly. Like, I'm sorry, the dogs in 3 were not nearly as bad as the dogs in 2. But
I don't know. I guess I'm looking at it through the lens of I've played through 2, each story mode, each section twice. Damn. So I've gotten used to the dog's timing, and I can just loop around. Oh, he's about to do that. Loop this way. But in 3, they're a lot more unpredictable because you run into them way less.
Yeah. I will say though, I ended up feeling that where the frustrations I had with 2, 3 went too far in the other direction, where it made things a little bit too easy, a little I don't know. It did feel like it was too easy. The whole game felt like it was too easy, and the parts that were hard weren't hard because they were designed to be challenging, but because they were just kind of frustrating.
At the end of the day, I wonder, part of me thinks they only made the RE3 remake in order to tack on the multiplayer that they are charging, that they have microtransactions on.
Capcom's been doing pretty...
Did you try the multiplayer?
I actually have not.
Me either.
Yeah. I don't know. I might try that. I might give it a try. I've actually been trying to focus on other things than that lately, but it might be worth it. Been playing through Journey.
I've always been a single player gamer. I literally just finished Doom as well just before this.
I mean, it doesn't help that I don't love multiplayer games right now. You'd think more than any time ever I would want a multiplayer game, but fact is I was never a huge fan of multiplayer games in the first place. I mean, I played Overwatch for the longest time, but then I just kind of fell out of it after I realized that I'd sunk $400 into the game over the course. Man. Well, maybe not $400, maybe closer to $200. I'd spent $200. Okay, actually, here's the thing.
You just really wanted those skins, man.
I spent a lot of money on that game. Other people spent more. I love you, Probate, and thank you so much. But
is he feeding your addiction?
He got me no less than 150 loot boxes.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, over the course of that game. And I still didn't have all the skins I wanted. Not even all of the skins. All of the skins I wanted, I didn't have because Overwatch's whole system is so fucking scummy.
Oh, it's bloated, man. The loot boxes in general are super predatory.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are like, they're just cosmetics. They don't affect the game, and I'm like, that's bullshit. Don't tell me that.
They don't affect the game, but they affect your enjoyment of the game.
Yeah.
Because if somebody's walking around looking like hot shit, really cool, and you're not, you all of a sudden enjoy it less.
Yeah. If cosmetics didn't matter, then Spider-Man wouldn't have had a billion different costumes in the Spider-Man game. I'm sorry.
If cosmetics didn't matter, League of Legends would never make money.
If cosmetics didn't matter, then, guess what? Marvel vs. Capcom 3, you could have made all those characters new characters, or just fucking blank slates. But you care because they
And then you get Marvel Infinite.
Then you have Marvel Infinite. the idea that cosmetics don't have an effect on game is absurd because a visual element will always affect a game. And yeah, so.
Yeah, I too have not been much of I've never been much of a multiplayer gamer. I play a select few multiplayer games and only those that I play with friends. Like, you're going to be very disappointed in me. But I started playing League again, along with my friend Caitlin. So that's been a thing that's been happening again. Udyr's running wild.
I can't lie. I will never be able to go back to League of Legends for a multitude of reasons. I have my 3 years sober chip. It's actually been way longer than that. Which, wow, League of Legends has really been around for a long time. Has it been a decade? I feel like it's almost been a decade.
It's been more than a decade. It was out when I was still in college, bro.
No way.
Yeah, we started playing when I was a sophomore in college.
Oh, wow.
Which reminds me, I've been out of college for over 10 years, and I'm now processing this.
Oh, yeah, 2009. So, yep, it has been 11 years. Oh, my God.
But yeah, we used to play that a shit ton. It was, okay, the progression was we'd play Left 4 Dead 2. TF2 took up a lot of
Oh, my God, TF2 was so
days.
fucking good.
It really was. I wish they'd make TF3, but Blizzard can't count past 2.
Steam.
Steam.
Valve can't count past 2.
They can't.
It's 1-2 Alex.
Yeah, 1-2 Alex. There you go. But yeah, then we moved on to Left 4 Dead 2. And then we played a fuck ton of League. And that was our gathering game for like the longest time. And then we went back for Left 4 Dead for a bit more.
Yeah. And ever since then, we haven't exactly had something to kind of draw us all back in.
Yeah, we haven't crossed over. Overwatch could have been that, but then I just didn't get into it, and other people didn't, and...
Yeah. I actually, I legitimately did like Overwatch for the time that I played it. It was a legitimately good game. I don't
don't doubt it. The toolkit seems very strong. I was really excited for it coming up to it.
Yeah. And now they're working on Overwatch 2, which is just hilarious.
I mean, it's basically the same game, but they're adding a single-player mode, from what I understand. Something like that.
Yep.
Like they're adding a campaign. I don't know. Yeah. Going back to Resident Evil, I was thinking about this. In the fucking spider area is where I first started noticing that they have a lot of really weird, I want to say fetishy shit in this.
Really, I honestly, I understand the whole oviposition thing.
Yeah, the fucking spider just deep-throating Jill. Like, there is nothing that you can say that there isn't... Somebody wasn't getting their jollies off making that.
I mean, look, H.R. Geiger designed a lot of the original Alien elements, and we know how sexually charged all of his all of his designs and concepts were. And this pulls very directly from the idea of injecting eggs directly down the throat, which is the most horrifying thing, by the way. Like, that idea... the moment I saw that, I was like, this is easily my least favorite part of this game. It's also the most effective in what it's trying to do.
It's absolutely horrifying. But I mean, like, so many of the deaths, especially like, did you ever get killed by one of the gamma hunters in the sewer?
Yep.
Yeah, they bend you backwards and just, like, vor you. And then there's those fucking, the head parasites that will try to imperfect sell you.
Oh, yeah.
You ever get killed by one of them?
Yeah, I did. I think I was killed by every major enemy in the game, actually.
I was almost curious just to try to get killed by every single one, just to see what their death animations were. But there was a lot of vor and weird shit in, like, I don't know. So somebody was having a bit too much fun making that shit.
Yeah.
Like I said during my stream, this is somebody's fetish, but it ain't mine.
So gosh, what was I thinking? There were a lot of different ways to die in that game, and I died a lot. But when it comes to the designs, Actually, how did you feel about the designs overall of all of the zombies?
I mean, the zombies were all redone from 2. Like, all there. I think there were, like, maybe 1 or 2 new ones, but I liked the creature designs.
Yeah?
A lot, especially Nemesis as he progressed and turned into, I mean, Tetsuo.
Okay, so on one hand, I am much a bigger fan of regular Nemesis. That being said, fucking super, like, final form Nemesis is actually pretty cool. If not
I mostly liked that just because of the fight. I mean, it was a very easy fight.
Yeah.
It was super fucking easy. But the capper for it was, I mean, it's a great set piece. It's hard not to enjoy shoving a fucking railgun into something and just boom.
Oh yeah,
fucking,
no, that
final flashing that motherfucker to death.
I mean, I won't lie. That part was like, I need this. I don't care how easy this whole segment is. I need this.
And I really liked Nikolai as a antagonist.
I'm here and there on Nikolai.
He was Albert Wesker light.
Yes, he's Russian. He's Russian Albert Wesker without any of the charm. Which, you know, that's fine if you want a charmless villain, but
he
man,
was so snide. I think he worked very well in that position. I mean, he's literally B-movie campy bad guy.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that was perfect level of mustache twirl.
I felt a little bit bad. I actually kind of confused him with the Gilf, Russian Gilf dude. Mikhail? Yeah. I loved Mikhail by the end of it. In fact, by the end of it, I'm like, Mikhail, you might have been an umbrella stooge, but you were fucking awesome. But Nikolai, on the other hand, was a piece of shit, and I'm kind of sad I didn't get to end his life. Apparently, he shows back up later, so he doesn't die in that one scene. God knows how he lives, but...
Do you remember Resident Evil 2 Apocalypse, the movie?
Oh, God, no.
A bunch of the characters show up in that. Nikolai in that, significantly more of a bro. He is actually a good guy in that movie.
Oh,
because
wow, really?
there are I don't know why they decided to make that choice, but he is a good guy in that movie. It's fucking weird.
Huh.
Especially after like playing through 3, I was just like, oh hell, this is on Netflix, which sub-rant. Netflix, if you're going to put like 3 movies in a series, which aren't even in sequential order, on your fucking service, just get all of them. If I'm gonna have like a movie watching night of watching through all the shitty Resident Evil movies, I don't want to watch 2, 5, and 7.
Also,
fucking,
they're impossible.
Like the fucking weird choices.
Also, I won't lie, I hate the naming convention for those movies. I can never tell which one's which. It's
right?
Like,
I have to look at the Netflix description to know what order it's in. The only reason I know Apocalypse is the second one is because fucking Nemesis is always in the thumbnail. But yeah, all the rest of them, it's like, if you put a gun to my head, I could not name all of them. I would just give you fucking... Okay, here's what I think they are. Resident Evil Apocalypse, Resident Evil Resurrection, Resident Evil Afterlife, Resident Evil Extinction, Resident Evil Apocalypse. Oh, I don't know. I think I'm out of them, and I don't even think I listed enough of them.
Yeah, it's Apocalypse, Extinction, Afterlife, Retribution, and the final chapter.
Retribution. See, they chose all the cliche from the 80s movie titles.
Yeah.
It's fucking absurd. But, I don't know. RE3 was an amazing little horror and fetish-filled game. Speaking of fetish, Kaiser, you recently made a Beastars video.
Hard pivot, but it works.
Less than hard. I was also supposed to say fetish and vor. There we go.
Yeah. I if we're done talking about the Resi 3, which I mean ultimately my review of Resident Evil 3.
Yeah. What's your overall impression?
It's a fun game. I don't think it's worth $60, but if you ever get it, if you can ever get it at a reduced price, I'd say $40, totally worth it. I finished it in about 6.5 hours, and I enjoyed myself the entire time. It's not as challenging as I wish it was, but it's also not quite as frustrating as 2 got for me in that particular regard. At the end of the day, it's not my least favorite Resident Evil game by any means, but it will also be one of the ones where I can always look at and see what was missing, what could have been.
That actually brings up a pretty good question before we truly move on. What is your least favorite Resident Evil game, followed by which one's your favorite?
5 is my least
favorite.
favorite. 5 is my least favorite because for
because
two
you
reasons.
didn't play 6.
I mean, yeah, I didn't play 6 because I respect myself and I wanted to live a better life. Resident Evil 5 is not a bad game. I gotta put it out there, but it is also one of the games where I was never scared once. And for a Resident Evil game, I'm sorry if you're not going to be able to scare me, if you're not going to be able, if you're not going to be able to unnerve me, even if you're not going to be able to actually hit some of those classic horror elements, then it's not a Resident Evil game for me. And in that regard, it is my least favorite Resident Evil game. Now, it was also a game that I enjoyed playing. I mean, I beat the damn thing, but it is just cheese and action. That is the whole goddamn thing, and that's. I feel like Resident Evil should be more than that. 3 managed to be more than that, and it's more of it feels like more of an action game than a survival horror. So
fits.
Yeah.
Which one is your favorite on top of that? Because it sounds like you have to choose between the second remake and 7.
Yeah. Well, for me, my favorite 3 Resident Evil games right now are original Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 7. And Code Veronica. Now, the Resident Evil 2 remake is really, really good. And, if you stack it up against the original Resident Evil 2, it's probably actually the better game. But for me, when it comes to personal favorites, Resident Evil 2 was actually not my first Resident Evil game, but the first one I ever beat. And that, you never forget the first time you beat a game.
That's fair in a series.
Yeah.
That's probably why Final Fantasy VIII holds a special place in my heart. That was the first Final Fantasy I beat.
Final Fantasy, it's got to be someone's favorite Final Fantasy.
And it may as well be. Well, I mean, I know it's Amber's.
Yeah. Actually, she legitimately loves that game. Which I mean, hey, I'm not gonna king shame nobody. Speaking of king shame,
yeah.
Actually,
there we go. Now that's the.
Wait, what was your least favorite Resident Evil game?
Oh, my least favorite, Survivor.
Oh man, you can't count the fucking spin-offs.
So we're only counting main entry?
Yeah.
If we're only counting main entry games, probably 6.
Yeah, if you played it. Yeah.
If I had to choose my favorite of all of them, it's either 4 or 7.
You know what? That makes sense. Oh, you know what? 4 is really high up there for me. In fact, you know what? I'm going to replace Code Veronica with 4.
That's fair.
Yeah, you know what? I spaced in that moment. Yeah, 4 is legitimately better than Code Veronica, both by old standards and new. But yeah, so Beastars. If anybody saw the main channel recently, I dropped a Beastars video. I tried not to be too spoilerific about it. It doesn't spoil anything beyond the first season. And I also tried not to spoil too many things in the first season either. I desperately tried to kind of make it a video to help kind of explain the idea of it and to entice people to watch it, which apparently succeeded wildly. I've gotten so many comments from people saying I didn't want to watch before I saw your review and I went to watch it and I loved it. Which
yeah, it was solid. I was hesitating to watch it myself, but then I needed something to watch while I was on the treadmill, and I was like, "Hey, there's that," and I was hooked.
Sober dub.
I watched it dubbed.
Yeah,
it had a very good dub.
I 100% believe that the dub is good. There have been some people who have disagreed with me, and that's fine. Obviously, everybody's got their own tastes. I legitimately believe that the dub for Beastars is real good.
There's one very small thing that I would have loved to have changed in the dub.
Oh yeah.
When those people were beating up or just bullying the other Grey Wolf, like the Grey Wolf girl, the freshman, and that Hawk looked into did his thing. I just wanted him to go, ah! That would have been the only change I would have made.
I could see that.
I think that would have been great. But yeah, I think it was a fantastic dub. I thought it worked out perfectly well, and as I had never previously heard about this show until like a couple weeks before it came out, I guess I didn't really mind that it was in Netflix jail, but apparently it was in there for quite a few months.
Yeah, and some people are asking what Netflix jail is, and for those of you who are still uninitiated to the idea of Netflix jail, a lot of companies that are adapting anime to the U.S. Are currently simulcasting their subs, because frankly, we live in a day and age where it is difficult not to do that. People are just going to pirate their anime by and large, and it's not something I necessarily approve of.
I mean, fucking both Funimation and Crunchyroll have posted ads featuring the Kiss anime watermark. You can't make that up. How do you not use your own screenshots?
I legitimately believe that a lot of them just go to Google image search, pull up what seems, oh yeah, no, this will work, because it's less effort than actually going through the episode and scanning through it, I think. I don't know how it works. It's crazy, and I'm not going to get too far into that, but yeah, for Netflix jail is Netflix does not like to simulcast any anime. It will acquire a license and then dub it and then put it out. And it's not just a dub for English, it's a dub for all of the territories that Netflix premieres in, at least a majority of them. So you're gonna, if you watch Beastars, you can see that it has a French, German, Spanish dub, but yeah, if you wanted to watch it when it was coming out in Japan, you had to go through more unscrupulous means, and that isn't great.
Yeah, you got people like me out here waiting for the next section of Baki or the next section of Kengan Ashura.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of frustrating that if you want to watch classic like any of the new shows that are coming out of Japan and they're licensed by Netflix, like, oh man, that killed Little Witch Academia. Little Witch Academia could have been really big and could have hit really hard on Netflix, but people were like, no, this is Trigger's new big show and I'm not going to be able to watch it immediately because Netflix is like, nah, you're gonna have to wait for the dub to come out. And not only was it wait for the dub to come out, it was wait for the first half of the dub to come out.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I flipped my
we know a bunch
fucking
of people. Yeah, we know a bunch of people who are in that.
Yeah.
It's a real shame that like I legitimately believe the dub of that one is pretty damn good too.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
What I saw.
But the problem ultimately is if you're not going to give people like, and I think another thing is that Netflix sees, well, if we're going to dub it, if we're going to spend the money on it, we want that to be how people actually watch it. Because if you give them the subtitled version, there's going to be a good section of your audience. I couldn't give you an actual number, but I'm going to assume maybe even half the audience that was going to watch it, if they only have the subtitled version, will watch the subtitled version and then never return to it. But if they have a dub available to them, they're more inclined. I mean, a lot of people are more inclined to watch things dubbed. Because, and some people will complain about these people, not everybody likes to read their fucking anime. And I know some people, I saw some people on the video that I released getting really shitty against people. It's like, what, you can't just read it in your periphery? No, motherfucker. During action scenes where they talk, it's impossible. I watched Dragon Ball Super, and during some of the action scenes, it got really frustrating because they'd start dropping pieces of dialogue that helped improve the fight that I couldn't read because I wanted to focus on the fight. That part is important. And so, yeah, I'm sorry, if you give me a sub or dub, like, unless the dub is bad, I'm gonna watch the dub. But if my only choice is the sub, like, if legitimately that's all I have, it's either the sub or wait 6 months or never, then I'll watch the sub. I watch Azoken. Then again, I don't even think I could watch a dub of Azoken. I just love it too much in the original Japanese version. But point being,
I think that has a lot to do with like how you get introduced to it. I mean, I started watching My Hero subbed, so now whenever I see any of it dubbed, like I know that it's a good dub, but it just like there's something off about it to me because I'm so used to these other voices.
Yeah.
And I know that was a lot of how you were with Dragon Ball too, at some points.
I mean, how do I put this?
However you want.
I don't know. Everybody's got their preferences.
It's okay. So, obviously you can watch it however you want. Some things legitimately do have a better sub recording than they do a dub. Like there are no doubts that sometimes the dub just isn't that good. Rurouni Kenshin is a strong example.
Oh man. Well, here's the thing: the sub for the Japanese version of Rurouni Kenshin is generally really good, but not a lot of people can get around.
Kenshin being a woman?
Yeah, Kenshin being voiced by a woman. And not even if I had to be honest with you, not even a woman who sounds like who's doing a really decent male impression.
It's a this woman sounds like Karapika.
A little bit, yeah. And on the other hand, you try to watch it dub, congratulations, like Richard Cancino is a decent actor, but he was ill fit for Kenshin.
And let's be honest, the lines they were given weren't exactly easy to deliver.
Not particularly. The script.
It wasn't a particularly well-written dub.
No, but that was back in the day. Could you believe that Kenshin was actually one of the best dubs of its time?
I can, because I remember watching its original run on Toonami and always really enjoying it.
Right?
I loved that show, and then I tried to go back to it when they put it on Netflix. I'm like, did it always sound like this? How did they deliver? Why is it written this? Okay, switching to the sub. Then I'm like, okay, can't listen to this either. Shit.
Funny enough, also, I like to watch a lot of my anime when I'm at the gym, when I'm on the cycle, or when I'm running, or even like when I'm doing my weightlifting. And guess what? Subtitles are ill suited for all three of those activities. Because while I can generally watch something and still move and do all that, reading something at that time, no, not happening. Unless all I'm doing is reading. I can read or I can watch. I cannot do both when I am working out. So yeah, I need a dub.
Yeah, I can definitely see that being a very good reason. Either that or you get up on your Japanese studies, you loser.
I know, right?
Just learn it all so you don't need to worry about it.
But yeah, top to bottom, I think that Beastars is a phenomenal show and you should all watch it!
That's very fair.
And if you guys haven't seen it, please do watch my video. I was very proud of that video.
It's a strong video. You put in a lots of effort. Like, you really flexed your fucking editor muscle on that one.
I won't lie. I already told this to some other people, and thank you, by the way. I appreciate the compliment.
Yeah, don't be fucking humble.
I wanted a style. I looked at some other AniTubers. I'm like, man, they do some really cool things. I can do better. Well, honestly, it was a little bit of like, I want to do that, and I want to see if I can do it better. Because that's always been my MO with a lot of the things.
That's been your thing. That's how you got into a bridge, and you're like, oh, look at that. That's cute. Let's do this. Cracks knuckles.
A little bit. It was like fucking G Gundam Abridged. I was like, this is really funny, and they're doing a lot of stuff that other people aren't doing. I feel like I could do that. I bet I could do it better, and then I tried.
But I want to make it look good.
Yeah, and that's sort of the thing. I like seeing things, and I want to do that, and I want to try and do it better. And I'm not going to say that I did something better, but it is a challenge. I want to do it better. I want to
You don't want to say it. You want other people to say it.
I mean, look, I strive to get other people to, say, hey, this was really good. Because I like to entertain people. I like to try new things. And I think that's important. I think if you're not trying to outdo other people, that's fine. If you have your own niche, but if the only way that you improve, the only way that you create new things, one of the only ways that you can truly entertain people is by trying to do better than the others.
And honestly, dude, as soon as you started doing all that stuff, and I started, especially after you started doing the behind the scenes, this is how I did this in DBZA videos, I started taking those notes, and honestly, you inspired me to try to be a moderately okay editor rather than a moderately shitty editor.
There's nothing I love hearing more sometimes than people saying, hey, you inspired me to do this. I'd be like, good, do it. Do it. Fucking kill it, man.
It's because of you that I learned how to garbage mat, and that's why the last episode of Yu Yu Hakusho Abridged actually has lip flaps on places where they shouldn't be.
Oh, now we don't have garbage mat anymore. Now we just have actual masking. Thank you. Oh man, I don't always love Adobe, but when it does it right, when it adds things that are truly, honestly beneficial to the process.
You say they do it right, but then I had to relearn. So assholes.
Oh yeah, I know. That's always the worst part, though. It's like, hey, we now have a much more intuitive way to do what you were doing before, but you're gonna have to relearn how to do all of it. Fuck.
But you're gonna have to learn how to do it again.
By
Good
the
luck,
way,
asshole!
Dragon Slayer asking how spoilery is the video. Don't worry, as I said before, the Beastars video spoils only a couple of things from the first season, but generally
you give away the concept. You don't really talk about much of the plot itself.
Yeah, I don't talk about the plot. I don't give context to a lot of things. Without context, a lot of that stuff matters. So, you know, I would say that if you watch the Beastars video, you will not be spoiled on too much.
If you want to go in completely blind, then definitely watch Beastars first.
Yeah. I will say the video does benefit from having already seen the series. And if you read the manga, there are one or two things I did in there, and I want to be super vague about it, that allude to things that happen later. And I've gotten some people message me like, I can't believe you. And I'm like, what? I don't know what you're talking about.
It all went over my head, so hey.
Yep. But yeah, at the end of the day, I wanted to try and make just a fun, flashy, enjoyable little video that mixed graphics and sound design and all that shit together. And I'm glad that people generally like it. It makes me happy.
Yeah, you did a hell of a good job on it, man. And I can't wait to see what you got next. Either way, this has been the Talkcast Podshow.
Oh no, is it over?
I mean, we've gone through all the things I've wanted to talk about, unless you want to
chat
a little bit more on these things.
I don't think there's too much else. We talked about the Resi 3, and we talked about, I guess we talked a little bit about Beastars. Mostly just my video and me bragging.
And, well, we also had a very good conversation about dubs and subs and anime in general. So I can't think of a better thing to go out on for a couple of nerds to chat about.
Oh, you know what I just realized?
Oh, what did you just realize?
My fucking Beastars in my Beastars picture is definitely going to be the thumbnail for this one.
Well, there you go. You already know what to look forward to for the live audience, and those of you that have clicked on it already know what you've clicked on. Thank you so much for joining us for the Talkcast Podshow, everybody. We'll be back next week. We hope you're staying safe, staying healthy, and staying awesome. Peace out, everybody.
Later, folks.